acting schools are also a very Eurocentric, dinosaur-like institution. I learned more about acting from the amazing actors in my year than I did from the teachers at times. Well, it's actually a big story to me, so I actually...
You can save it.
I have to say, I can't say.
Hi, I'm Susie Round, and this is the Here We Are podcast, where you can catch me having seriously fun chit-chats with my friends in the theatre business. Today, we're shining the spotlight on Raj Labade. We speak to you from unceded Gadigal lands of the Eora Nation, better known by its colonial name of Sydney. This podcast is brought to you by the Here We Are app, created specifically for people who love theatre, whether you're a practitioner or an avid audience member. Here We Are is a new social media alternative that allows us to share our passions for the theatre in a digital space designed by people who devote their lives to the arts, distinct from the billionaire tech companies who clearly don't care very much about those. You know, this morning I looked you up on IMDb and I had a chuckle to myself because I saw your date of birth.
Yeah.
And you know, you were born in 2000.
Yeah.
And for oldies like me, it is bizarre. Because I don't think of you like as a child. Clearly, you know, yes, I know. But, you know, and I've seen you in kind of really grown up place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't occur to me that you never saw the 20th century.
No.
What's it like as a young actor in this town?
I mean, I've been very lucky. So I think I have a very different experience to a lot of other people my age. But I think it's good. I was born during the opening ceremony of the 2000 Olympic Games.
I was marching around the Olympic Stadium.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's our first connection. You know.
So you know that you're lucky.
I know I'm lucky.
How did you know that you're lucky?
I have a lot of friends that are actors, that are around my age, older than me, that are, you know, getting the same opportunities. Because I think that, people tend to work with the same people, and, people want to work with people they love and people they know. And it gatekeeps a lot of the jobs, but also, you know, there are so few jobs to go for in the first place with theatre. So I think that it's quite tough actually to sort of get your start, get your first main stage credit. So I've been lucky. Yeah.
Why do you think you're lucky? How do you explain it?
I mean, there's been like so many people who have just given me opportunities. I've known, like, my first movement teacher at drama school, Sam Chester, recommended me to do a show in Perth, which was my first main stage credit, and that was my first step. And then, you know, Letitia, who did Tell Me I'm Here, and Hannah Goodwin, who cast Never Closer. Those guys sort of had seen something in my auditions or in my show reels and stuff like that, and gave me an opportunity. And Nick Brown, who wrote Sex Magic, I think that was probably one of the biggest opportunities. And that was, you know, such an exciting sort of job. And I think, you know, all those people have led to me being given the opportunity to sort of show my work. And I think my work is sort of getting me more opportunities now. But, yeah.
So do you think, you use the word lucky, right? Does it make you think that maybe you're just a bit more talented than the others? Or do you have a better face than the others? What do you think is more likely?
With that, I get two options.
Both?
No, I think I went to drama school with actors that I learned how to act from. I know a lot of actors that aren't working that are much better than me. And I think I've definitely gotten better, and, you know, I'm working towards a different class of performance because of how much experience I'm getting now. Absolutely. But, no, I think, oh yeah, I've been really fortunate with the opportunity to show my work and get better at my work. So
how's your confidence level at this moment? I still feel like you're a new actor.
I feel pretty confident. Yeah, I think I feel pretty confident. I think I'm just realistic about, you know, how many people are also incredibly talented. I think there's enough space for everyone. That's my mentality.
So working on these big stages has been good for your confidence.
I think so. And I've always been very confident in my abilities and belief that I could do this. But
Where does that come from?
my mum.
Yeah. Tell me.
Mum's a cello teacher, and a piano teacher, and is very accomplished and used to play for the Brandenburg Orchestra and all that sort of stuff. And she's always had me performing. I grew up playing cello and piano and singing and all that stuff. And so I think she's always encouraged my creativity because I'm doing the things that she, also wanted to do in terms of performing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I wonder if learning music gives you better grasp over the concept of failure.
Yeah.
Because I think for acting, especially as young actors, that this kind of possibility of failure can be a little bit crippling, and then it kind of robs you of your confidence.
Yeah.
Would you say that is somehow related to music, your experience in music?
Yeah, I think so. I think acting is much easier than music.
No.
I think music, there's a right and wrong. If you sing a wrong note or play a wrong note, everyone can hear it. But with acting, you would know as a reviewer, there's certain performances that really resonate with one person that don't with another, and it's so much more ethereal what good acting is. And of course, there's the basic of whether it's convincing or not, and that sort of is true. But there's so many different versions of what people think is true when it comes to good acting. So I think yes, and I also think that the way music is structured and the way you learn music, I think really helps sort of break down how to learn other skills. Because it's so structured. You have an exam formula. They teach you certain pieces before you get to other pieces. So you sort of have a scale and a grade before you get to something crazy like Shostakovich or Rachmaninoff, something crazy. It's sort of applying that to any other skill becomes easier because you've learned how to work on a high level in a different field.
Is it a case of discipline or kind of a psychological structure you can put to it?
Psychological structure.
No. So you're able to kind of dissect things.
Yes.
You kind of pull it apart.
Yes. So I would say that, and this is the way just my mind works. I think I would say that your first role in a theatre show, unless you're incredibly lucky and thrown into deep end, would be, a couple of scenes in a small show, in a big show, where you get to sort of flex your muscles and learn from older actors. And then the next show, you'll do something that's a little bit more difficult. And if you're like me, you'll end up doing something crazy like sex magic on your third show or something like that. And those are the steps up. And I think you can sort of break down scene studies and all those sort of different things that you do in drama school the same way. There are levels to what a hard scene is or what a hard part is that you can sort of, I don't know, look at in your mind and sort of see what new things are happening here, what new challenges it might be presented with.
You mentioned earlier something that relates to the subjectivity of the audience experience. I said, whether you're doing a good job or not, it depends so much on how it's being received. And I think you were kind of hinting that you kind of don't really have complete control over how people receive the show.
Yeah.
So even so young in your career, so early in your career, you've experienced that. It can vary so much.
Yeah, with people's perception of my performances.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think I've had too much negative reinforcement with the performances I've done. I've been lucky so far. But I think also just in shows, people cannot sort of pay attention to your performance because there's another performance that's amazing, or people cannot really sort of notice what you're doing because the show itself is really not functioning well. So there's so much that's out of your control. Yeah.
So I said you were born in the year 2000.
Yeah.
You were born.
Come back to that.
Yeah. You were born in Sydney.
Yeah.
But you went to Wagga in Western Australia.
Yeah.
It's a Perth institution.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your experience there.
I think ultimately very positive. I learned, as I said before, I learned more about acting from the amazing actors in my year than I did from the teachers at times. I
You're
learned,
talking about your peers.
yeah, I learned more about acting from my movement teacher than I learned from the acting teachers.
Okay.
And I guess that's just sort of was just the case for me. And, you know, acting schools are also a very Eurocentric, dinosaur-like institution.
Did you feel that when you were there?
Yeah, absolutely. And they can't change fast enough because there's all this legislation and all these.
What was it that made you feel that way, that it was so Eurocentric?
Oh, I mean, it's having you know, all white teachers in positions of power. It's very much in terms of the way that they were training us. They wanted to train us through the Western canon of, you know, Shakespeare and Chekhov and all that sort of stuff. But then you have, ever since some of the new teachers entered that institution, they started bringing in people of color and people from different sexual backgrounds.
You mean to teach?
No, to be students.
Right.
Because they were primarily all white cohorts for years and years and years. And when they started bringing in people of color, they started going, oh, well, they're asking for a play by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins or something like that. They're asking for a play by different playwrights.
The students are asking for.
They're asking for that because they want to sort of do the roles that they feel like will prepare them for the industry.
Right.
And then you get into all sorts of different political conversations of, you know, we did Gloria while I was at drama school, and I played all three black characters, and I asked the teachers why was I cast as those three characters, and they said, well, it'd be racist if we got the white kids to play those parts.
And you were the closest to black.
And I was the closest to black. So it was, those sort of conversations were very frustrating. And
were they frustrating because it was hard? They were hard conversations, or was it frustrating because people were unwilling to have this conversation?
Both. We had to use our sort of cultural understanding to educate them, and then a lot of the time they weren't willing to listen. And so, and it's because it's hard, and everything about it becomes, you know, an assault on whether they're doing the right things, whether they're good teachers and all that sort of stuff. But really, it's just an institution that is not used to serving and training people from different backgrounds. It's used to primarily training straight white people.
So it sounds like, you know, there's an institutional structural issue that I think most people will understand.
Yeah.
But you were not up against them on your own. It sounds like you say we, because
my year was the most people of color they'd ever had in a year. I think how many? Then it was about 9.
Oh,
yeah.
Out of how many?
Out of 18.
Half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were able and willing to admit students of color, but everything else remained the same.
Not the same. Some things were better. I think it just got very difficult, and there become so many gray areas of, you know, these are, you know, you should play a terrorist in this scene, Raj, because that's the sort of role you need to prepare for when you graduate. And when I graduated, I thought that was what I was going to be doing. I thought I was going to be playing, you know, all this stuff that brown people were playing in the early 2000s. And luckily the industry, particularly the theatre industry, has changed so much, and I've been able to do so much more interesting things. Yeah.
Interesting things.
Yeah.
I think actually you had 2 very interesting things in my opinion. And you've had a really great experience of working with new writing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm assuming you had Never Closer, you had Sex Magic, The Dictionary of Lost Words.
Yeah.
And then now The Talented Mr. Ripley. Did you always have the writer in the room with you?
Not always. Not always. On Tell Me I'm Here, we didn't have the writer in the room. She was in London, which was just such an interesting challenge. And you're sending emails at London time after rehearsal, trying to make sure that we can make the script work for our purposes. When she's, you know, there's all sorts of different negotiations, but for the most part, the writer's always in the room. Yeah.
I love the idea that you're working with new writing. I wonder, there must be some kind of correlation about your quote unquote luck about having these great opportunities, and they tend to be new writing.
Yeah.
Sex Magic.
Yeah.
In a previous episode, in our first episode, I spoke with Nicholas Brown, who had written the play and co-directed the play, and it's a work that I really, really loved. And you play a character that on the surface might look a little bit similar to you. Was he Anglo-Indian as well?
Yeah.
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 He was Anglo-Indian, and he took this kind of huge mystical journey into India as an Australian man.
Yeah.
And discovered parts of himself.
That's as well. Yeah.
Have you been inspired by that play to make discoveries like that?
Yeah. I mean, I said to Nick when I read it, I mean, when I was cast as well, I said I thought I would have to write something like this for myself. And this was because I just left that institution where I felt like all those things about my identity. And when I read it, I went, he's half Indian. Full stop. He's half Indian. That was just like from the get-go. I had never thought I'd read a script that was written for me that I could do like that. It was really quite incredible to do a family drama, to do something that's so physical and so queer and so out there. It was just an amazing gift, and I think like Nick is someone who has seen the industry in a much slower change of pace, rate of change. Sorry. And he's sort of put up with a lot of those things in order to be a big brother to me and give me that opportunity. So it is a pretty incredible thing to read.
It's so interesting to think that because he's had so much more life experience than you, but you are pretty much embodying, some kind of younger version of himself. And then you're reading, you are meant to absorb this text that's coming from, someone who had twice the amount of life experience.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to understand it. I'm assuming that it's unrealistic for someone who's, practically half Nicholas' age to fully understand it. But as an audience member, it looks like everyone did.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, clearly there's a lot of work with direction and everything. And, that lets the audience see the full picture, which happens when the production is great, which in this case was. Was it challenging for you to feel like you've got a grasp on the so many textures and so many different dimensions of that particular play?
Yeah. I mean, sitting with you now, I still don't know if I did a good job with it.
Why do you feel that?
I don't know. I think it's just been a long time since I did it, and I can't really remember what I did anymore. But I think it was such an immense challenge to do so many things within that show, like with the Kathakali dancing and speaking Malayalam, which is a language that I hadn't even heard growing up, because it's from a different part of India. And yeah, understanding what my idea of the themes of the show were versus what Declan and Nick had, which, as you said, having this incredible wealth of life experience, there was a dissonance definitely in terms of making sure I could understand, what I wanted to do versus what they wanted to do, and it was a really immense challenge to step into, because it is like I'm telling Nick's story, not literally, but in a lot of ways. Yeah, I still don't know if it was exactly right, but I think I was very, very hungry and very, very ready to step into something, because, like I said, I only write because I got the impression that I wasn't going to have parts when I left drama school.
Yeah, even in this day and age where...
Yeah. So I have been writing for years now, and I really love it. And was only shot yesterday with something that I'd written.
Oh, yeah, sure. And a short film. Yes.
A short film. And I sort of felt like I stepped into a role that I was expecting to only get the opportunity to do in my 30s or 40s. And I was just there was nothing that was going to stop me from fully falling into it and taking everything they could give me. So,
And since then, since Sex Magic,
mm,
you've had a trip to India, haven't you?
yeah, yeah.
Do you feel, I'm assuming you don't go to India very often.
No, I hadn't been since I was 15, and I went this year. Yeah.
Did you have expectations based on the play?
No, I think the play brought back a lot of memories for me with my experience growing up in India.
You actually spent time there.
I didn't grow up in India, but growing up and going to India, it brought back. So that part of the language was so clear. We knew exactly what we were talking about with that. But yeah, I did go back this year.
How was that?
It was really, I think I'm still processing it. It's a really sort of, difficult adjustment, sort of going, well, I don't really know my family here the same way that my sister does, who's been able to travel more. And I think I sort of felt like I really wanted to, make it more of a pilgrimage thing. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you go there, even though in some ways it is sort of motherland, not really, but it sort of is.
Yeah, it is.
I'm wondering if when you're there, how much a part of it do you feel and how much outside of it do you feel?
Well, I had an interesting experience with my uncle when I first got there, because I went alone for the first time as well, because I can't speak Hindi or Marathi or anything. I can only speak English. And it's the first time going without my family, without my dad, who normally would translate. And I think the first day I got there, my uncle took me to go get some beer from the bottle shop, and I like tried to pay for my uncle, and the guy at the shop just took the money and didn't give us any change. I was really annoyed about it. He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, he's a Labade. And I heard him say in Marathi, he's like, "He's not Labade, he's white," and and that there was this sort of like, there's just this moment where I was like, oh wow, I'm really not from here. It was the first day in my family's village after not being here since I was 15. I went, damn, like I really gotta think about that. And
do you think that most people there would think that you're white?
yeah, and then I found, like, the second I stopped wearing my travel satchel with my passport in it, and I would wear long pants. Maharashtrians, they all wear long pants, they don't wear shorts. I'd wear long pants, I'd have my beard, and I wouldn't speak, and everyone would just treat me like I was from there, and that was
okay. So there is kind of cultural coding you can do upon your physical being to make you look a little bit more like part of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was interesting. It was really interesting, and my story to tell is my parents' story and my dad's story, growing up in that village and his journey coming here. So I feel a lot of responsibility to understand.
How much have you been able to mine from him?
A lot.
So he tells you everything?
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
Yeah, he definitely tells me the part that makes him look great. But he does, and I think me and my sister are really, really passionate about telling that one day.
That is really valuable.
Yeah, so Nick was a huge inspiration in that way. Sort of, this is exactly what I want to do one day.
So you've done some writing based on the stories that your dad told about himself.
Yeah.
So you're writing something where he is, I'm assuming, a big character in a play?
I think it would have to be some kind of series, because it's so sprawling and big. It's a lot like Sex Magic.
Would it be a biographical thing about your dad?
I think it would be biographical about my dad and my mom.
Ah.
Yeah.
And she was born in Australia.
She was born in Australia.
Yeah. And how did they meet here or in India?
They met in India.
Ah, she made the trip to India.
Yeah.
Why was she going to India?
Well, it's actually a big story too. So I actually
you can say that.
I have to say, I can't say. It's a really interesting story. I can really tell you about behind camera.
Okay, I can't wait to hear that. Making TV series for.
Yeah.
So, interestingly, am I right to say that before Sex Magic and after Sex Magic, you've been playing white guys? Pretty much. And now in this show that I'm really excited to see.
Yeah.
That City Theatre Company is presenting a new version of The Talented Mr. Ripley by Joanna Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got a role in it, which is incredible.
Mm.
Tell me who you're playing.
I'm playing Dickie Greenleaf. Who?
Dickie.
Yeah. Do you know the book or the film?
I've seen the film, and I am obsessed with the recent Netflix TV series. Yeah.
Yeah. An actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think which one is Dickie in the series.
Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Tell me what their faces about.
What Dickie's about?
Yeah. What Dickie's about. As you're entering into your first preview show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think there's there's a lot of versions of him that have been played. There's a lot of versions of him within the room that we're talking about. Like, I think I have a different idea of who he is compared to sometimes Sarah or Joanna, and I think it's definitely more of an intuitive thing. I think I'll still sort of maybe be able to articulate who he is after we've done the show for a little bit. But for the most part, I think he's a really rich, entitled, spoiled young man, but who also has no idea that that's the case. And I think that's more interesting than playing him that way. It's these are the things that I have. This is my boat. This is my house. These are my rings. These are my possessions. And I don't really care if I have them. I don't really care if my place in the world is threatened, because I can always buy new things and I'll always sort of exist. And his dynamic is in the story. His father gives him an allowance of what in today's money would be like $4,000 a week or something like that, to live in Italy, while his father also disapproves of him not, taking over the family business. So it's kind of, there's a lot of parallels to the sons of oligarchs and billionaires today, where it's kind of like, even though I disapprove of who my kids are becoming, I still will always bankroll their lives. So he's a very interesting person, and I'm enjoying it.
I think there are two schools of thought for actors when you're playing characters like that. Whether you're not judgmental of them, or you're going to be critical of them.
Yeah.
Where are you sitting between those two?
I think the writer does the judgment for you. That's my perception of acting. I think like Joanna has already decided who Dickie is and how he would be viewed by the audience, and has made him unlikable in so many ways because of his privilege. And then my job is to make everyone fall in love with him, so that when he does
Something horrible.
So if something horrible ever happened to him, they would actually care. That's my job. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And how's that experience been on this project?
It's been really fun. I really like Sarah. I think it's been the most sort of freeing and exciting rehearsal experiences I've ever had. So I'm really excited to see what people think of the show.
How many weeks have you been rehearsing this one?
5.
You've had 5 weeks?
We've had 5 weeks.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a lot of time, and we worked really quickly, and everyone sort of arrived really early. The show's kind of already buzzing. It needs an audience. So I'm really interested to see what people think. Yeah.
Are there bits in your head where you're kind of really anticipating what the audience is gonna give you?
I don't know. I think like my approach, it's one of the best scripts I've read. I think Never Closer and this are probably like 2 of the tightest scripts before we started rehearsing. And I think that we've done our work to sort of live up to what the script is, because I think it's the most true adaptation to the book, because you it's really a story about this guy who's a bit of a psychopath and wants to take over the identity of this person who beams everything that he wants to be. And so I think that we actually get to see that through his direct address to the audience and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's an interesting take. I just wonder if people are going to resonate with it still.
What kind of experience do you think it's going to be? Because his book is sort of a thriller, the films are sort of a thriller.
Yeah.
Do you think the audience do you expect the audience to come in feeling, what kind of emotions do you think people visualize like?
What kind of emotions they...
Yeah, what kind of emotions are we going to go through as watch show?
Well, I hope it's exciting. I hope it's like, it's sexy and funny and romantic, because it is that sort of romanticism of that era and what that represents. And I also hope it does sort of give that filthiness and that raw horror and thriller aspect. Sarah's always talking about the thriller aspect. She wants it to feel like a noir thriller, which I think is really cool. And Steve Francis has done the score, and it just sounds so creepy and fantastic. So yeah,
I'm excited. I'm seeing it in about 6 days time. Yeah.
okay.
Excited. I can't wait to write about you, Raj.
Yeah, great. He was judging his character. Is it?
Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.